Standard depictions of the Tyrannosaurus Rex focus on a single terrifying image, a multi-ton predator emerging from the fog, crushing the earth with every stride. Recently, researchers have moved past the external scale of these skeletons, using CT scans and histology to peer inside the fossils. These examinations reveal a complex growth history hidden within the mineralized density of the bone. This evidence suggests that the T-Rex operated as two different animals over the course of its life, fundamentally reconfiguring its biology to suit its needs as it aged. Understanding this apex predator requires moving past the cinema screen to track a physical transformation, a sleek, narrow teenager expanding into a heavy-footed titan. A tyrannosaur dominated its landscape through this biological flexibility, pivoting its shape, its sheer scale, and its hunting strategy across a 30-year lifespan. At 13 years old, a T-Rex was built for speed. Its frame was narrow, with proportionally long, powerful legs designed for high-speed pursuit, a stark contrast to the bulky, ambush-oriented build of the adults. The swift, narrow profile of these juveniles led to decades of scientific debate. Because they looked so different from the massive adults, many researchers classified these mid-sized fossils as a separate pygmy species named Nanotyrannus. The confusion was resolved by counting microscopic growth rings inside the fossilized leg bones. These rings confirmed that these pygmy dinosaurs were actually teenage T-Rexes captured in a moment of transition. This graph tracks the animal's weight over time, revealing a massive S-curve growth spurt. Starting at age 14, a T-Rex would pack on 1,300 pounds every year for 4 years straight. This growth map created a phenomenon called ontogenetic niche partitioning. The fast, agile teenagers targeted smaller prey, while the adults focused on multi-ton herbivores, a strategy that kept different generations from competing for the same food. This intense mass-building phase provided the necessary weight and power to transform the animal from a pursuit-based sprinter into an ambush specialist. The final adult form reached 14 tons. At this weight, sustained running was no longer a viable option. The animal was now a biological machine engineered for crushing force. That force was focused through a U-shaped jaw and teeth the size of bananas. This anatomy allowed the T-Rex to splinter bone and extract marrow from the largest carcasses in its environment. While earlier theories suggested a coat of feathers, recent fossilized skin impressions from several T-Rex specimens show a different texture. The adults were covered in very small reticulate scales, typical of a large-bodied reptile. Scans of the brain cavity, or endocasts, provide a map of the animal's intelligence. The architecture reveals a brain dominated by regions dedicated to sensory inputs, rather than the large cerebral cortex required for primate-like cognition. These sensors were highly specialized. The T-Rex possessed acute low-frequency hearing and a snout filled with neurovascular canals that were incredibly sensitive to touch, vibration, and temperature. The adult T-Rex relied on this overwhelming sensory detection and brute-crushing force to secure its position as an apex predator. The best case study for this adult lifestyle is a specimen named Sue. At 33 years old, Sue is the oldest and most complete Tyrannosaurus skeleton ever recovered. Forensically examining Sue's bones reveals the cost of living at the top of the food chain. The skeleton records a lifetime of physical trauma and narrow escapes. Sue's bones show a torn arm tendon, 3 healed ribs, and a left leg bone swollen to twice its normal size from a massive infection. Beyond combat injuries, Sue suffered from gout, spinal arthritis, and a parasitic infection that left physical holes in the jawbones, the likely result of eating contaminated prey. The life of a tyrant king required constant endurance, with dominance maintained through the survival of catastrophic injury and systemic disease. The T-Rex secured its legacy as a highly adaptable survivor, relying on a unique biological transformation and a brutal endurance that is visible in every scarred fragment of its fossil record.